Hello, everybody, and welcome. So today, Sue and myself are going to be talking about identity and who you feel that you are and how you see yourself. We're doing a series of essential elements of well-being, and we both believe that this is part of it. Like, your identity is so crucial to how you live your life because it's how you see yourself. What do you think?
Oh, Bridget, yeah, that's such a critical, like a core component of what coaching is about. And yeah, I think it's really problematic when we don't see ourselves in a particular way, and yet that's the way we have to pitch up, So working with identity can be really powerful.
Yeah, because your intentions create your actions and your actions create your intentions. And in line with wellness and the essential elements of well-being, if you see yourself as somebody who is healthy, active, and fit, then you're going to be more inclined to do things that are going to add to that. So in other words, you are going to be willing to wake up early. You're going to be willing to maintain a physical exercise routine, whether that is yoga, whether that's running. You are more inclined to eat healthily because you identify as that. And with that, what do you say with yourself when you think of your identity in relation to health and wellness? How do you identify yourself in that?
It's so funny that you asked that question, because whilst I sort of partially identify with it from a sort of exercise perspective, I'm not sure that I do from a diet perspective. So it's weird, even within one domain, I sort of identify differently. I'm not a wheatgrass eating vegan. That's not part of my identity, whereas exercise is part of my identity. And so as a result, it's really hard for me, I think, sometimes to eat the way that I would like to, because it's actually not something that I've identified as. So it can be a real barrier. Hey.
Yeah, because that's the first point, is to be consciously aware of who you are. I mean, I'll give you a silly example. So yesterday, somebody said to me, to one of the meetings I had with one of the mentors, the mentor said something about, oh yeah, and you were a bit late. And it wasn't the fact that I was a bit late, and it wasn't the fact that I had, acknowledged that. It was the fact that I see myself as somebody who is kind of, no offense to Germans, but kind of German with time. Like, I am always on time. I'm quite pedantic. Like, if it's going to be 5 past, I will be there at 5 past. So when somebody says to me, oh, you were a bit late, like, it triggers me because I identify with being somebody who is on time. So, it's being conscious about who you are and how you see yourself.
And potentially how you'd like to be. I mean, that's the extension also, so in leadership coaching, it's, learning to articulate the leader that you want to be, that resonates with you, pulling out that authenticity.
Yeah, I mean, that would be so consciously being aware, and then who it is you want to be, and then what are the actions that you need to take, and also then not to be hard on yourself, because there might be little slip-ups along the way as you're on this journey of creating a new exactly, of creating this new identity, because we put things in place, but that doesn't mean it's all just going to be amazing. We don't have to write it off just because we have a little bit of a backside. So if you were going to kind of semi-recreate parts of your identity around the eating side of the well-being, how would you identify yourself around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think first to really articulate in a way that is concrete, because it can't be vague, and then to, work to say, well, what's the benefit of that? Why is it important to me? And then to break that down into, so what would it take to start moving towards that? Where am I now? And how do I just get started along that, and use that potentially as a reinforcing mechanism? If you're reflective, that really is helpful, and you can just see the progress towards that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's the vision,
Mm,
and then it's your values. Because if you value your health,
right.
then maybe it's a little bit easier to go, hang on a minute, I want to be active, I want to eat healthy because I actually value my health. So
Mm,
that becomes quite a priority because that's part of your how your
mm,
identity is shaped.
mm.
So I think those two tie in and make it a bit easier, because if you're not somebody who doesn't, if you don't value it, then why would it matter beyond that split second or that week when you thought, okay, this is going to be a good week? If it wasn't a value, it's not going to go into action, I don't think.
Yeah, it's identity underpinned by values. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So for people now
Yeah.
going into holidays, so we are going to be back in the new year. And I think for people going on holiday now and looking at the year that's kind of passed and going into the new year, and looking at what is it about yourself that you want to keep. And I mean, there's certain things that they kind of are what they are, and then there's other things that you can shift and change.
Mm,
And what would be those things that you would want to shift and change and re-identify yourself to be a healthy, active person, or whatever that is for
mm,
you?
mm. And I might just encourage to start with one thing. What's one thing that's really important?
Yeah.
Um, instead of a laundry list of New Year's resolutions, which
Mm,
we
mm.
can be
We
tempted
know
to do.
they don't work. We know that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the invitation.
Yeah.
Maybe just take one thing and then see if you can take that beyond the 14th of February, because apparently that's quite standard. By the 14th of February, the New Year's resolutions have gone. So maybe to take it throughout the year, what would be that one thing to feel as well as you possibly can? Because again, this is all about wellness. And have a good Christmas and holiday and New Year and all of that.
Lovely. Thanks, Bridget.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye.